Okay, business owner, you started running your business bright-eyed and bushy-tailed, thinking every month was going to be a $10,000 month based on a single post on Instagram. If that's you, you're in the right place. This is the Big Bad Marketing Podcast. I'm Janae.
And I'm Brooke, and in this podcast, we talk about all aspects of running a business, including the growing pains and the pains of building and getting it off the ground.
Yes, here are a bunch of things that we wish we knew when we started this business in hopes that maybe it helps you and makes your process a little smoother.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's
Let's
do
do
this.
this.
Yeah, running
Okay,
a
so the real
business
the
is,
real is that running a business is not all B-roll videos, drinking lattes, working on the beach.
but like sometimes it is, but that's not an everyday occurrence. That's like one day out of the year, maybe.
I guess if you live by a beach, it might be a few more days than that. But yes, the point is like they be selling entrepreneurship and running a business on the internet and social media at large as though it's just fun and games and making content. And that's how you run a business is literally making content. And I think that's because for some people that is their business. Like these, have you seen these wild YouTube families that are just making lots of digits and lots of dollars just making videos of nonsense in their house? Have you seen those?
I once saw a documentary about the families that were doing that, and there was like a weird abusive thing, like forcing their kids on camera. It was very
Yeah.
odd. But I
Yeah, it's
think, like,
creepy.
yeah, that's a whole industry of literally creators to get other
Creators.
people's eyeballs, creator economy. But I think in like the business that we are in context, you go on Instagram and you see somebody like what's her name, Shelby Sapp, who's just like, I bought this mansion and made $70 million yesterday morning. And you're
While
like,
drinking a latte
well,
on the beach.
I was drinking a mimosa and I closed this deal because I'm selling stuff. And it's like, that is what we're getting bombarded with. So I do think, Janae, like you said, bright eyed and bushy tailed starting a business, like this is going to be easy. I think it's the if you build it, they will come mentality. But the reality is not that they will just show up. It's like, if you build it,
If you
then you
market
will
it well
have
with
to.
big bad marketing support, maybe.
Well, it's like then you have to tell people about it. And then you have to tell people about it. And then you have to keep telling people about it until the people come. And that is like that telling people about it and being in that building stage that lasts years and years and years. It doesn't last 4 days.
Forever.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's really the main business of being in business is telling people that you do business and telling them what you do and then telling them again. And what's that old writing cliche of like, tell them what you're going to tell them what you told them. That's
Yes.
pretty much what you do when you run a business is that. But I think if you take it back a step, it's also being really clear about what you're telling them and what you're offering them. What is the package? What is the service, the product that you're selling? Because I think this, gets so mashed up and like, yeah, I go to all these networking events and that's one of these bright-eyed, bushy-tailed rabbit holes and sort of tangents and doorways you can walk out scene right, exit scene right, and you're like, I just go to all the networking events and tell everyone what I do. But what if you're not really creating a succinct message? You haven't created a succinct message that clarifies what you do. So you're going to all these things and no one's turning into a customer.
Oh yeah. That's that's definitely an aspect of it. And I think that's why the building takes so long is because not everybody has a clear offer from day one. Like not everybody's like, I sell woven lions and that's what I do
On
because
screen.
I'm holding up a woven lion right now. But in this list of lessons learned, it's like these are the things that we have come across that I would have loved for somebody to tell us on day one to be like, hey, just so you're prepared, like, let me just set your expectations super clear because this is what the next couple years of your life are going to be. And I don't know, would we have said, sure, sounds great if we'd actually known? I think we would have because there are so many like joys and benefits of it, but it's definitely hard.
Okay, it's giving a lot of you don't know what you don't know vibes here. And I think that there's that nobody hands you a manual because every business is different to some extent, right? There's like a lot of principles and functions of a business that are going to be the same no matter if you're selling a product or a service or you're here or you're online or whatever it is. But maybe beyond that, you don't know what you don't know. There's no manual. Even if we came, our future selves, our big, bad, bossy selves that we are now, went backwards in time a few years and told our novice, bright eyed, bushy tail selves all of these things, it's reminding me of when I planned my wedding a few months ago, weeks ago, years ago, whatever it was, like pretty recently. I got married this year, so not that long ago. Um, Everyone around me when I was like, yeah, I'm planning my wedding, like had tips and ideas. And it was very, you don't know what you don't know. And you don't know till you're in it, doing it. So everyone was like, oh, you really should do this. And I was like, okay, I'm going to do it my own way. And then turns out they were right. But I wouldn't know that because I had never done it before. And so if you're running a business for the first time, this is just, it's the exact same principle. It's like, how would you know that you need to work with an accountant and figure out the tax thing before tax season comes until you do it? You don't. And then you figure it out and you do it when you get to it. And so I'm rambling here. The point I'm getting at is like, you can use these tips we're going to share and you can look into things other people teach you when you start a business. Here's how to avoid all these pitfalls, but also falling into pitfalls is part of this. Spoiler alert.
Yeah, and I think that's a big thing is, there are quote unquote manuals out there, right? I've got a couple books on my bookshelf that tells me how to build offers and how to
Step
price
one.
products and how to market them and like, but the reality of building a business is it's not like you say, okay, I'm going to take the next 3 months and I'm going to go into my cave and I'm going to learn everything about building a business. And I'm going to read every business book and I'm going to watch every YouTube video. And then when I'm ready, I'm going to launch the perfect business. That's
Okay, so
not
wait, are you
how it
talking
works.
about building a small business for dummies book? Like that vibe? Like you're
Essentially.
just going to go read everything that there is to know about how to
Yeah.
do it.
I
You're
mean,
going
I
to go in a
have what,
cave, you're going
100
to do it.
million. Yeah, I have $100 million offers. I have $100 million leads. I have $100 million money models. These are all like business books that you
The
could, in
basics.
theory, read and follow them and have, massive success. But you're going to
Yeah.
encounter things as you need them. I mean, it's like when you're living life, it's like, I don't know everything there is about exercise. I just go to my exercise class or I just go down to my gym and pick up some
Mm.
weights and do some certain exercises that I know. It's not completely optimal if I were an exercise science expert, but like I just know what I need to know right now to get through this
Yes.
day. And that is what it is
Yes.
like to build.
Also, you're giving such Oliver Berkman vibes. Shout out Ollie B. We love your work.
Ollie B.
And we talk about your books a lot. We talk about his books a lot and love them. And all of what you're saying reminds me of that. So he writes 4,000 Weeks and Meditations for Mortals. Is that the
Mm-hmm.
name of this one? Yeah. And it's like anti-productivity hacks. It's sort of this kind of niche, sardonic, ironic, but very practical, real. Hey, let's reframe the way we're thinking about using our time on this planet as embodied human beings. And it's not necessarily to be more productive, it's to get right with the mindset we have around productivity. Is that a good elevator pitch for him?
Yes. Oh my gosh. Yes, it's perfect.
We
And
could
it
hire our
really,
marketing team.
yeah, and it really is about acceptance of we're never going to be able to do everything. I think that is an important lesson learned because there have been a lot of times when we're building this business that we're going back and forth on, well, this is on the to-do list, but we need to do this and this is an internal thing that we need to do and we need to market ourselves, but we need to service these clients and there are always going to be more things to accomplish than things that you are capable of accomplishing in any given day. And I think one of the first lessons learned that we can talk about is you have to be okay with leaving things on your desk. There will never be a clear to-do list when you are a business owner. You will never get through everything that needs to be done because there will always be a backlog pile of the shoulds and the
Mm-hmm.
things that you should be doing And most of the time, those shoulds that fall on the back burner are internal things for your own business because you got to make the money. So you got to service the clients first. So that for me is a big, lesson learned number one.
Is there also like a girl or boy listener, business owner, entrepreneur, whoever you are, whatever shape, color, size, species you are? Like, if your to-do list is empty, you're doing it wrong trying to run a business. Like, maybe that's harsh. I don't mean it and you're doing it wrong. I just mean if you have an empty to-do list, you might want to go back to the board and look because there's always a thousand things you could be doing to drum up more business, to refine your processes, to be more efficient, to make your customers more happy. Like, you can always add to that list. So to Brooke's point, like, you're just not going to be able to do all of it at the same time by yourself right now.
Or if you do have that, one, please reach out to us because I
We
want to
need
talk
you.
to you and understand your psychology around your business because you might be going and having beach days and feeling like, well, I finished everything, I'm good to go. And I would love to have that
Mm.
mentality and to be able to prioritize to the extent that I am okay saying no to more things. And I think that's actually another one on this list. So,
Say no, dog.
yeah.
Yeah, something swirling around my mind a lot in this last week actually is this idea less is more. And very easy to say, much harder for me to put in practice of like taking things off the list and just being really clear about what can I actually get done right now. How much time are these things going to take? Because I'd rather do a really good job on the fewer things than try to tell myself I'm going to do a lot of things, be stressed the whole time, and do mediocre work on half of them.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's
Okay.
the truth.
All right. Hit us with a couple with the next like thing you wish you knew when we were starting running Big Bad Marketing
Oh, yeah.
that you know now.
The biggest one, and I do think we a little bit knew this coming in, but and we've said it all along, but it takes longer than you think. Nobody is an overnight success. Okay, let me take that back. Very few people are an overnight
Yeah.
success. And even the people you see on the internet who are making $70 million dollars over a latte at breakfast, they probably weren't an overnight success either. They probably had years and years of doing the thing that they do. So, we've pretty much since day one been like, hey, we're on a mission here. We're on like the 3 to 5 year roadmap of building this business. And now that we're like 2-ish years into it, we're like, okay, we're in it. We're building, we're seeing results, but we're not $1 million agency right now. And I think a lot of people are like, oh, well, after 2 years, I'm going to have $1 million business. I'm going to be making 10 million a year. And it always takes longer than you think it will. And you have to be able to sit in that discomfort of it taking longer.
Yeah, there's so much coming up for me with that. I'm like, are we even going to get through this list? Because there's so many different
No.
things to talk about here. Literally, we just said you're never going to get through your to-do list, and now I'm like, are we going to get through this list of things we want to share with people about what we knew? And if you liked hearing about this and talking about it and getting insider scoop information about how to run your business more effectively, tips that would have helped us tremendously from day one, and just like mindset shifts and silly nonsense, join our email newsletter. That's where you will get more of this good stuff. That's www.bigbadmarketing.com/newsletter. And you will get an email once a month that is filled with all kinds of good stuff to keep you going and keep you excited and optimistic, even if you're like, oh, I've been doing this for a really long time and it's not working.
Yeah. Well, it always takes longer than you think.
Yes, yes, exactly.
Yeah.
But I guess for me, that one is so present right now because of something you and I talk about a lot, which is the social media highlight reel, the internet highlight reel that we see in the space where individuals and businesses are totally in the driver's seat of the facade that they are putting out about the way that their life looks or the way that their business is going. And it's really hard to face that as a person who I tend to think of myself as authentic, which is a pretty hard to define word, anyways. But like, I like to think we show up pretty authentically. I'm not going to be necessarily posting videos of us tediously working on projects on the internet or like crying about things that happened or, the frustration I have writing an email. Maybe that would make good content. But my point being, like, a lot of times what we're seeing in the modern vernacular and pop culture of all of this stuff is happy people making big sales. Like you said, here's how that lady made $70 million while drinking a latte on a boat. And you can do it too. And it's a hard place to simmer and be in that discomfort of mine doesn't look like theirs. But the truth behind that is maybe theirs is a photoshopped version that is being posted online to project a very specific visual and vision of what's going on. And that's not necessarily authentic and real in this moment.
Yeah, and you're on your excuse me. You are on your path for a reason, and your path does not look like anybody else's path. Like I don't want my path to look like that influencer's path. I honestly I don't think it would make me happy. And I think we are designing a business that is better suited to our desires for what we want our lives to be like. And I think, comparison is the thief of joy. And it's true in your personal
Hmm.
life, it's true in your business life. And if we go around moping about the fact that we are not as big as Alex Hormozy, then we are just going
You
to
picked
be
a mecca to compare
miserable.
us to
Right. But if we are comparing ourselves to that and he's putting out hundreds of pieces of content on social every single week, like
because he has a team of hundreds of people, if not thousands.
precisely. And he's how many years along in his journey? And we are at two. So, you know, maybe
Okay.
another point here is don't compare yourself to the people that you see on
Love.
social media.
Yes. Okay, but Brooke, here's a question that comes up for me is how long to continue down a path. Like in our case, we're working on it. We're putting in the effort, we're putting in the sweat equity. We know it's going to take a long time to get where we want to be. But how long do you continue down a path before you're like, "Hey, I don't think this is really working," or maybe we need to rework our offer. Maybe this is not the right business. Maybe there's no audience for the thing I'm selling. Whoever is listening, maybe they're having that experience and they're like, "I've been going at this for a while selling my widgets and nobody's buying them." Like, is that an issue with the way they're marketing it, the way they've structured their website and their business and UX and the way they're showing up and talking about it? Is that just like that is not a marketable product?
Yeah, I mean, I think that can definitely be the answer. I think there are businesses that we have worked with that we have been like, this is not viable. Like, this is not a product that is priced in a way that people are going to buy it. This is a product in an extremely competitive space where there are a lot of other options. Like, this is a service that people are just generally not interested in. And I think there's an element of how how much risk are you able to handle? How much
Mm,
financial risk are you able to handle? That kind of dictates how long you can prolong something like that and how long you can try to do something. And the vast majority of businesses are closed within 3 years, I think. And there's a reason for that because even if you have runway and say you started your business as a side hustle and you waited to quit your job and you have some money in the bank, like there is only so long that you can go without earning money, without earning a meaningful amount of money before you get
assuming
to a
you want to
point
keep your
living your
lifestyle.
life. Yes. Yeah, there's you can only
Eating
do it so
foods.
long before you just have to be able to pull the the emergency thing and be like, all
Hmm.
right, I'm out of here.
Yeah, and then for me, that becomes sort of a question of cash flow is like, how can you maintain, if this is what you're passionate about and it's just really putting in the sweat equity, putting in the time, like, how do you generate cash flow? How can you open revenue channels without dividing your time so significantly that you're not able to build the business anymore? And maybe that's my question. And it's probably just an individual answer for every person is like, how long do you want to only focus on this one thing? Is that the way you're even approaching? Because a lot of folks we talk to are like teetering the line between they have another job or they have another business. And therefore, they're a little bit shielded and protected from this kind of concern that you and I are talking about. But not everyone, right? Folks like us who jumped ship from our full time jobs with no plan, and we were like, we're going to figure this out because we have self confidence, we trust in our skills and abilities, and we know sort of there's nowhere to go but up from here. So There's so many different places on the spectrum of this entrepreneurship journey to be. And maybe the point is like, that's okay. It's okay wherever you are on this. It's okay if you change your mind. It's okay if you get to a place where you're like, you know what, I'm realizing this isn't viable and I need to reinvent. And while I reinvent, maybe I need to get a job. Maybe I need to secure a different form of revenue. Maybe I need to change my lifestyle and live on a boat and drink lattes and make B-roll videos and sell what is that, MLM videos?
But that's, I think self awareness of, where you are people buying it? I think it's one thing to have a deep belief and confidence in your own abilities, but quite another to try and sell yourself out in the market for 6 months or a year and people still aren't buying, and just being okay with the fact that that might not be the right fit. And I think, too, not everybody is built for entrepreneurship. And I know a lot of people say that, but I think it's true because the mental fortitude required to hear no, and then no, and then no, and then no, and to still keep asking when people are saying that, like, that is a special kind of skill set that people in this
Hmm.
entrepreneurial journey have to have. Because, when somebody tells us no, we're like, okay, great. Let's hear more about that. What was it about us and this offer that we made that wasn't for you? And it's like, no, for us is data and information. And that's one of the ways that I know that we are in the right line of work, because we are not feeling completely shut down and like we're failures because somebody said no to us. So I think there's a bit of a mindset piece here of, you got to develop a mindset that is like, I don't necessarily care how many no's I get. I'm going to use it as information, and I'm going to use it to like build my business, and not to feel, ooh, I think the point I'm getting to is being able to disassociate your value as a person from how your business is doing. Does that make sense?
Absolutely. And yeah, a big one that just was knocking on my internal experience was the like cultural norm of associating our worth as humans with how much money we can generate. And it's just so faulty. It's a faulty system because the bottom line is we have worth, intrinsic worth, just because we're here and we're human beings and that's our birthright. Like we're here with it. Like you are worthy, you bring value, you are important, what is that? Like you are beautiful, you are kind, you are important. Like all of those things, all true. Whether you are making no dollars, whether you are making lots of dollars, whether you owe money, whether you create money, like all these things, money doesn't have to do with it. And I think that shifting that kind of mindset can help with this, being able to receive no's and being able to stick with something even when it's hard.
Yeah. And that falls directly into the bucket of this next point, which is things that we wish that we knew, that the idea of success is fluid. And I think a
Mm,
lot of people define success as making a lot of money. And I see people do this. I hear people do this all the time. And they're like, oh, well, they're successful because they have the boat and because they have the mansion and because they have the $1 billion business. But I think something that we've learned is like, success is fluid, because sure, sometimes a success is closing a big deal, but also sometimes success is being like, you know what? No, we're not going to take that job because that's not the right kind of customer. And that can be a form of success as a business owner too, is like,
mm-hmm.
I set a boundary today and I stood by it, and I'm building the type of business that is morally and ethically aligned with who I am. So I think redefining what success means and teasing out the financial piece of that has been really important for us.
Could not agree more. And yeah, I think it all boils down to the being able to keep those separate things. And I love what you're saying about the ethical and moral space where we can stand and be like, we're confident in what we're doing. We're making decisions rooted in our truth, in our mission, in our vision, and whatever that is for you, entrepreneur listener. Figure that out. Figure out what your why is, what your purpose in doing all of this is, and then move tenaciously towards that. And it might just be making money. That's your main goal. And Brooke always says like that there's another goal behind the goal of making money. So there's got to be a deeper why, and that's fine. But if you're like, no, I'm literally just in this for money because I want to have that, like numbers in my bank account, great. Just be clear on the why instead of sort of arbitrarily chasing this and that and then getting confused. And then, what happens to me is like, we'll have a success and someone will sign up with us. And then immediately after, I'll read a client email and misinterpret the message that they say. And I'll call Brooke crying, like, why did they say this? And she's like, no, it says this. You read it wrong. And like, the being able to let it go quickly and the bounce back rate, that feels like a big success sometimes. Or like we had a client whose internal processes changed and their structure changed on their side. So that means that they had to hit pause in their working relationship with us until some of their structures shift back into place. And that was a funny moment for me, like receiving that information. And then I feel like we handled that with grace. Like that impacted our business and our side. But instead of being like, WTF, that's not in alignment with our contract or making a fuss or something, we just were like, oh my goodness, that sounds challenging that you're in that position. How can we support you through this? And that felt successful for me that we were able to face it like that. And being able to move through these ups and downs that inevitably will continue to present themselves in different forms all the time.
Yeah, and a thing that you just said there that so resonates with me is the ability to bounce back quickly because the highs and lows are real. And I think in the very beginning stages, the highs are super high and the lows are super low. And as you go, it's sort of like your highs aren't quite as high and your lows aren't quite as low. And you start to sort of get to this point where it's like Janae, the story that you told with
Oh, the farmer.
yeah, the farmer. And it's like, okay, well, maybe this is a good thing for our business, but maybe it's a bad thing for our business. And when we had that client that put pause, we sort of approached it from well, maybe this is a bad thing for our business because we're going to lose tens of thousands of dollars in revenue for this year, but maybe it's a good thing for our business and maybe it's going to free us up for opportunities that are even more meaningful. And I think just the ability to have a very sort of middle of the road mindset on the happenings and being able to take things in stride, that is a huge lesson learned. And I wish that somebody at the very beginning was like, hey, you're going to have highs and lows and they're going to come at you sometimes even in the same day. And you have to be able to have this emotional stability to hold that all and view it through a lens of equanimity.
Yes. I think even if someone told me that, it's still, you don't know how to deal with that till you're in it. But also, it's giving me the reminder that part of what you can do to prepare to run a business is like live a lifestyle that is aligned with all of these kinds of values if these are important values to you, and they are for us, they are. So I'm like, this is all yogi stuff. Everything you're saying, like that's literally the Buddha's middle way and non-attachment and being able to accept what is and flow with the waves of life. Like that is what we're doing on a human level. That's like that, we're not a human having a spiritual experience, we're a spirit having a human experience, like whatever that quote is. Like that's what this is. It's just another opportunity to like transcend the limited binary experience of like the duality of like being a human but also having an experience that is a blip in time. There's one I really like by Gandhi, like what is 100 years in eternity? Like if the average lifespan's around 100 years, like we're here and then we're gone. So how can we be in such alignment and such flow with all of the things that happen, even when they're really hard and cost your business tens of thousands of dollars? And then the next day you get a call that you got a bid, like you win the bid on the proposal and now you get to move forward and now you're going to make hundreds of thousands of dollars, right? Like moving in ease and harmony with that is such an important business entrepreneur skill and life skill.
Yeah, and on that point, I think, do it anyway because 100 years in eternity is not much. So why not seize the opportunity? Why not try something new? Why not put something out there on the internet that makes you cringe a little bit? Why not just go out there and be who you are in this life, because we are just a blip. And so it's like, why not take the chance?
It's all so important here, especially as we move towards like you have to talk about what you do. That's another one that nobody told us that I don't even know if you can tell someone else. Like, you got to start talking about yourself without it being like, yeah, okay, thanks. I know that I need to tell the world what I do. But it's so hard to do when you're starting. And it took me a very long time to confidently speak out loud. Like, I run a business, we co founded a business, and this is the kinds of audience we serve, and like be able to talk about it with any semblance of confidence and show up to a space and be like, yes, this is what we do. This is what I do. Hi, you need this. You're going to love this. That was hard, but you know what made it easier? Doing it
Yeah.
and then doing it again and doing it again. And yeah, these are things where it's just like you just have to do them. Get out of your own way and do them.
Yes. And getting out of your own way can be difficult, and it forces you to confront some things that maybe are sitting in the back of your psyche that are saying, hey, you're not good enough for this. Hey, these people aren't going to like you. And we did a whole episode on, like limiting beliefs, imposter syndrome, things like that, that were, that we've had to work through. And I think in many ways still are working through, but just to, to allow us to not judge ourselves and just get out there and do the thing that we know that we are here to do with confidence.
Could not agree more. So, listener, talk about what you do with confidence. Get out there. Trust the flow. Like, it's so easy to just get to a little woo woo here, but like it if you get too hung up on any of the small things, and they're all the small things, right? Like, then you lose sight of the bigger, badder picture. Okay, Brooke, let's do a quick rapid fire and tie up some loose ends here of like other things you wish you knew when we started this business that maybe could help our listener make it a little easier for them as they go.
Yeah, I think another thing is delegation, and knowing that it's okay to delegate things to other people, especially the things that are not directly requiring our unique level of expertise. So I think that was a hard hurdle to overcome. And then the biggest thing for me, and I think this is another one where we might have known it all along, but relationships are and continue to be the most important thing for this business. Referrals, our network of people, that is still the number one source of our leads, and I think is the number one source for most businesses, is connections through people that we've met and using people to tell other people what we do. It's the network effect. And on that note, just following up with people, because it's not like we met somebody one time at an expo and then now they're sending us clients left and right. It's like, no, we nurtured that relationship over time, and it took about a year, and then now we're reaping the benefits of it. So yeah, I think relationships first is a big one for me. What about you, Janae?
I like that one too. And even when you say that, I'm like, yeah, people I think go to an expo setting, for example, thinking they're going to leave with a bunch of new clients. And like, maybe it definitely depends on what you do and sort of how you do it. But for us, I think most often it's like creating the touch points in the experience so that your prospects know you exist, and then you can keep showing up. So you meet them there, but guess what? You also got their email address, and you got them to follow you online, and now you're sending them newsletters, and now they're seeing your posts and able to connect with you. And oh, I realize I need this. And who are they going to call? The person that keeps showing up in their face,
Yeah,
which
which
I
ties
think is
back
also,
in to it's going to take longer than you think because of
and
that entire
yes.
process end to end that you just described.
Yes, and don't forget to follow up, follow up, follow up, follow up, follow up till someone explicitly is like, "Leave me alone. You're crazy. I don't want to hear from you." Keep following up. That's
Yeah,
that's where it comes from.
absolutely. All right, what else you got?
Okay, another one for me, like I wish I knew, was that I'm gonna feel like everything's important all the time, and I'm gonna be really busy all the time because I think everything is important and I have to do all of it, and I'm so busy and I have to do it all today, and that's just like a me thing, and I on the spectrum of vibes, I tend to lean more anxious. That like what's that? Anxious or avoidant? I tend to be more anxious style, so that puts me, I think, in a healthy way, it pushes me towards like get stuff done, so it's not late, la 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 la. But also, I can go overboard with that and be like, I have to get through this entire list before midnight, and then I'm up till 3 a.m. and I have gotten only two of the things done. So, don't take that as advice. Take that as it's okay if you feel busy all the time. I'm learning this. It's okay if you feel like you have a lot of stuff on the list that you're not getting to. It's always going to be there when you come back tomorrow. Take care of yourself, prioritize your mental health, get some rest, eat well, like do the things that make you feel good. Don't avoid doing your work, but like it's just going to keep going and that's okay.
Yeah. And that's a really important point is throughout all of this, you also have to take care of you. And I think it's easy to get caught up in the mindset of I'm going to work 16 hours a day every single day of the week for years on end. And it's like, no, that's not sustainable. That's the fast track to burnout. And you do have to do things to nourish yourself, not just your business.
Yeah, they say being an entrepreneur means you have the freedom to choose which 16 hours of the day you want to work.
Yes. But I think in our case, not true. And also, just a little reminder to our listeners like, it's okay to build a little slower if that means that you are having a better time and you are getting more enjoyment from it. That's okay.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Because what is it that Creed Bratton says in The Office? He's like, "What is it all about if I can't do my scuba?" Like, I think about that a lot. I think about things Creed says a lot, actually. So if you know Creed, he says lots of what are those called? Just I guess random stuff, really non sequitur stuff, just blurts out stuff. But that one really sticks with me because I'm like, yeah, what is this all about? So remembering the why and moving towards that. And if you're not in a vibe or you're like enjoying the work, not every minute of every day or every task that's on your list, but if the bigger picture is you're like, ugh, this stinks and I'm up 16 hours a day doing this and I have no personal time and blah, 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 like maybe take a pause, reassess, figure out how to get closer to that Buddha's middle way and that equanimity and non attachment because we're only here for like 100 years. 4,000
Yes.
weeks, baby.
Yes.
Look at that.
And thank you for spending some of your precious time with us. And we hope that you got
Aww.
something out of this episode. And be sure that you subscribe so you don't miss a future episode of the Big Bad Marketing Podcast.
And hey, also extra, extra, if you're deep in running your business, tell us what you wish you knew when you started. Drop us a comment. Love to know about that.
Thanks for listening.
Bye.